Hello there guys, I want y'all to know everything that's new in Update 6.4, but I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to speedrun it. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and tell it not takes too long. Let's go! And this update came out like 2 weeks ago, and I'm just covering it now, but I've been busy on IRL things and faction-related things. Just do expect video quality to go up over the next few weeks, though. In Update 6.4, they added quite a bit of things. I'll go over all of that and some things I missed in Update 6.3. Firstly, they added the last point of interest to the bunker raid, and it's insanely chaotic. With the bunker, you can get 2 Roblox badges from it. You can get the Lost Souls badge or the It's An Over badge. You get Lost Souls by failing the raid and seeing the rocket launch. You get It's Not Over if you complete the raid and stop the missile, which is said to be a nuke, but the markings on the missile label it as a biological weapon. In the footage you're seeing right now, I'm flying around in an unrendered bunker, but it's sick. I suggest you do the raid. We might have a bunker raid later today, actually. If you want to join the Discord, the link will be in the description below. You can join it, and you can join the event whenever we do it. They also have stealth mechanics. Gunshots are loud, but put a suppressor on and their detection range to you is way smaller. And you get a small stealth bonus of a bit of cash, bit of XP, but for the AI being so dumb that they don't realize that an enemy person has shot one of their guys in front of them at point-blank range. If you choose loud, an alarm will sound and a bunch of AI will swarm you, staying in neat lines for you just to mow them down in. I'm pretty sure this is an error done by some of the coders, and I hope this AI is reverted back because the pre-6.4 AI made so much more sense and much more of a challenge. You can also stun enemies with a melee, which is good, but it doesn't work on other players or civilians for all my war criminals out there. The new intel can come in 4 shapes. A USB, which can be difficult to see at first because of how small it is. A briefcase, which I definitely didn't see on the guys that had it. A Rucom phone, which is basically Russia's ripoff of Nokia. And a Blue's Clues notepad from 2010 or something. You can carry up to 5 pieces of intel that you can take back to the requisitions guide that gives you a bit of cash for it. After that, you can turn around and get yourself a drink. Yes, they made 3 animations just for soda in an open world game. After that, you can go into the briefing room and see the progress that you've made on intelligence gathering. The mission objective is collect intel from the following compounds: Naval, Quarry, City Hall, DOU, Alchara Village, for Mountain Outpost, and Fort. Once all intel is compiled, Platinum 5 will launch an attack on the nuclear silo. Operators will have 1 chance to make it to the control room and stop the launch of the missile. And if you look at the map, there is currently 5 out of 10 for Alchara. That's because I just came back with 5 pieces of intel. And you can get a maximum of 10 out of Alchara that will go towards the final count. And then you'll reach the maximum amount after you've reached 10. And the name of the POI will turn green after that. This goes for all POIs until you get all 160 pieces of intel. And then the bunker will start opening. They also add a little bit of distortion around the chat box so that you can more easily tell what your characters are actually, especially with the white snow on the ground. And they also put a little bit of a white line just to indicate where it is. Before, there was no white line, now there is. But for some reason, whenever you hover over some materials, the distortion goes to a complete solid color. They also revamped the optic system, adding in a little bit of a lens distortion and lens zoom effect onto each of the scopes. But for some reason, you can also see through a bunch of materials. Mostly, I believe it's decals that you can see through, because you can, you don't get to see any of the white lines, you don't get to see any of the wires, and you also don't get to see the bushes in the corners for some reason. Now it's time for stuff in the loadout menu. So first we're going to go over the new NVGs because they revamped how they work. And the new one is the PNV10T, which is a 0-star required NVG, the only one of its kind that you don't need to pay actual money for. Also, whenever you hit your nods once, they go all the way up back to your head instead of going to 45 degrees like they would before this update. I don't know why, but now you can see in front of you and behind you via your NVGs somehow. I don't know how. This NVG is basically just a PSV 14 Mono, except cheaper and has a different aesthetic. It's basically the exact same thing with a bit less brightness, making it a bit more versatile than the other PSV Mono that I was talking about. Pretty good NVG, especially for 0-star, about $1,400 bucks. The PSV Mono looks very similar to the PNV10T MVG, except I think this one might be a little bit brighter. Maybe it's the same thing. Maybe it's just a different aesthetic they're going for with the Mono one. They're both decent. The AN PSV14 Dual has the same highlighted area, but it also allows you to see outside the highlighted area. This is, I don't think, realistic too much because these things are on your eyes. You're supposed to look through them and not around them. And even if you do look around them, the ground and all that's going to look extremely dark because that's just a lens of light in your face. Finally is the GP NVG18, the most expensive one because it requires real money. Yet its highlighted area is a lot bigger, covering the majority of the screen. But it also looks really dumb with the triple circle with the middle one being cut off a lot. That's just my opinion though. For more aesthetic people, you can now change the camo on almost any backpack to anything. Depending on if your vest can support that camo, such as mine, the NPC vest does not support the EMR summer camo pattern. It does support all the other ones though. And now every backpack except for the Assault Pack Black and Assault Pack Tan can be changed to those 5 colors, including winter. I'm not sure about EMR Summer. I did not test it, but that is not on every backpack from the dev announcement. In this update, they also updated the suppressed Mark 17 sound. Now, I will let this play out silent with everything else being silent so that you can hear what it sounds like now, because it sounds really cool. They also added 4 new melee weapons: the UVS Ortega 1 machete, the M1211, the tomahawk, and the softcat dagger. Most of these weapons have a upward into the left slice, a downward to the right slice, and a bit of a stab. And finally, addressing the new Game Pass on the game, the RAL 8000 Game Pass, which comes with camos for a few guns as of now, but all the guns of the game in the future. And I'm just letting you guys know, do not buy it. It is not worth it. It looks so bad. And it's only on a few guns right now, so I couldn't even tell you if it looks good on other guns than the HK. But it's pretty bad, especially because you have to pay Robux for it. I don't suggest buying it. I think it's just a money grab, if anything. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and make sure to stay tuned for faction updates as they come out. Bye.